On my table I have the chemicals ready for C41 development. I also have the Ego film processor, which I will use for developing color film, and today I need to develop 4 rolls of film of codec 200. And first of all, I will show you a small trick how to pull the lever from the film canister, and I will show you why you need that for the development of the film. I will imagine that I'm just on the go and I have only canisters and I don't have the opener for the canisters. And this is a quite trivial situation, and usually you don't know what to do. You can use the normal can opener to just pour and pry this lid and pull up the film from here, but it's much easier if you beginner to have the leader. So you basically cut the leader and you preload the film on the drum before you put it in a dark bag, which I will show you today. So if you don't have the film retriever tool, which is a special tool, for that you just need the 1 roll of unexposed film with the sticky lever in here. So you have the canister which is fully winded inside, so you don't really have an end, and you have a canister with the leader. What you need to do to pull it up from here, you just need a sticky side, so emulsion side of the film, but you're starting with the canister. You rotate the canister in the direction of the counterclockwise to the canister, and you hear for the click, and you will feel small resistance basically when the end of the film flaps around this bending here. And after that you wind it clockwise to apply the pressure on the whole roll. And the next step, this canister is ready, and you need to pull a little bit more of the lever here because this area will be junk anyway, it will be exposed, and you need something like this distance to pull it from the other canister. So take a finger, apply the saliva or water up to the end, and be quite fast with that because it dries quite quickly, and push the end leader inside the second canister. You pull it all the way through, and when you have both canisters look like this, start rotating in the counterclockwise direction, and at some point it should catch up with the ends, and you will see that the second film is retrieving inside the first thing. And as you can see, I have the end of the film, but do not rip it fast enough because you can just pull everything out of the film, and trust me, I know what I'm talking about, and I just make this mistake a second ago, and this is the first time when I make this mistake, so be careful with what you do, otherwise you can ruin the whole film. And it's much better to use the proper tools for what I'm describing here, and I will show it a little bit later. So now I have 4 rolls of film. Unfortunately I make some mistake and ruin some shots, but bear with me, it's also a new process for me with the Ego film processor, and also this is a part of the film photography. Then you ruin the film when you ruin your shots, and sometimes you ruin the color development, you ruin some, end of the strip, or you have some problems. And this is an inevitable part of the film development and analog process, but keep it in mind, it also happens in the digital world. You forget to erase, for example, your SD card, or you just erase it and waste all of your time basically erasing the whole shoot, and sometimes it gets corrupted. So it's exactly the same. Here is more human factor, in the digital it's more like a computer factor or just electronics factor. So keep it in mind, it happens, nothing basically gone, and it's just film, and you just need to shoot more and be prepared that it's not only about the 1 roll. Keep shooting more. If you waste one, just try another time, and it's not a big deal if you waste some shots on some unnecessary basically pictures, and you just practice more. And when you trying the new processes, it always will be errors, and it's nice and it's fine. And even me, I'm developing film basically for probably 6 years already, and even for me these things happens. It's a mistakes, and if you don't make mistakes you don't learn anything. First thing what I will do, I will load the film inside the canister of the Patterson tank. So don't forget, that if you have a smartwatch, and especially smartwatch with the sensors, you need to remove it before you put it inside the dark bag and load the film. Otherwise it will expose everything and your film will be ruined. So let's start with the loading film, and for that I need a preparation. So the first step, I will just remove the Ego processor body, and I will use only the Patterson tank with the lid, and inside you have the two reels, and these two reels quite nice, and I will show you a little bit new for me also method, and I hope I will not screw up this also. I will load the film with the canister, so I basically will preload the film on top of the reel and I will cut it in the dark. And this is a little bit new method for me, but I will try it with you and see if it's a good one, can I recommend it or not. I saw it once and I think it's a viable option. So I will put in a dark bag the closed lid and the Patterson tank. I will put there two reels on the stem, which is important. Just in case, I will put the can opener, and I will also put the scissors, which I will use to cut the end of the film from the canister. So I will start with the two rolls of film and we will see how it goes, if I like this method or not. Main idea that you have the reels, and if you take the film, you can pull quite a lot of edge of the film itself, because this length goes inside the film camera and completely ruined and exposed, and you just take it in the light and you preload its end on top of the canister itself. But as you can see, the first step, which you usually need to do, because you see it bites already and it will be staying there, you just take the end and you cut it straight, so you have the end of the film. And here on a Patterson tank it will work perfectly fine, because you have the balls which holding the ends of the film. And as you can see, I preloaded and I have the canister hanging up here, and I don't need to find the edge of this inside the dark bag, and it will be quite easier to do than just try to find it and search it by hand if you newbie. So I have one ready, and I will make a second one ready and do exactly the same. I will keep the second one on a stem, and I will just pull the same length that the last sprocket goes to the ball bearing, and hold the film ready. So like this. I have two reels, I have a scissor, and let's go in a dark bag. So usually it's quite long process, but I will try to show you and basically make fast cut on this process. I will put scissors, I will put the can opener just in case, and I will put two of my reels with the film, and I will put this Patterson tank inside with the lid. Try to not forget anything outside, because it will be quite hard to pull up your hands from the dark bag and in the same time keep everything light safe. On this changing bag from Patterson you have the zipper, so I close the zipper and put two flaps on top to have everything light safe. After that I put my hands inside the double sealed. I will describe what I'm experiencing here for you to basically understand it easier. So I pull the film from the canister and start rotating one side, and pull the film from the canister again and rotate it one side again, and I'm just doing it repeatedly. And on a Patterson it's quite easy to load the film without any problems. It goes on the reel and I don't feel any resistance, and the ball bearings works really fine. Only one thing what you need to look for, that the film doesn't really go off the rails there and doesn't really create the bump, but usually everything is fine and you don't really have a problem if you have the spare length. So I reach the end of the film, I find the scissors and cut it to the just end of the film and wind the rest of the film on the reel. I load it, so now I have two reels stacked, and I will put these two reels inside the drum, and after that I will close the lid. So I put it inside and I close the lid, and from here I have everything light safe. So let's open the back and get out our loaded drum. So this is our drum with the film. It's closed and light sealed, and I have two canisters inside, which is not broken, and if you reuse the canisters, probably this is quite nice option, and you can use this one as a decoration or something because they're not broken and looks quite nice. So now I solved two challenging parts about the film development, and now I need to put the Ego processor and be careful about the holes that I have agitation and proper solution mixing. So I push it on top with a rubber connection here, put the end on the drum, and now I have my development system ready for the film development. Only one last thing, that I need to preheat everything, and I also need to preheat the chemicals to the proper temperature, which is written in the instructions. And as you can see here in my instructions, I have exactly 38 degrees. So we will use 38 degrees as it's mentioned here, and on this temperature we will pour the chemicals inside. I will also make the pre-wash, and because pre-wash and preheating is quite important and it requires 3 minutes, so I need an additional 250 milliliters or even more of the warm water, and for that I need to find some kind of a vessel or volume of the solution which I will use to preheat everything, and I will probably just preheat, and maybe it's a good idea to just preheat the full volume of the solution here and use it as a heat accumulator, because nothing will bad happen with the chemicals, but it just will take a lot of time. So I don't really have any type of circulator here, and I don't really have the kitchen circulator, but usually this is a good idea. But now I will show you if you have nothing. So basically you have the only Ego film processor, you bought the kit, you have the film, you have a changing bag, and it's a primitive starting kit. You don't really have a lot of things. You have a normal kitchen scissors, even you don't really have the opener, which costs almost nothing. But I will show you how you can survive and how you can just develop film in any type of conditions. It's not so hard, especially with a color film, as everybody think. And the temperature is important, but I will show you small techniques how you can do that, and it's basically overheat the chemicals a little bit and start developing. While it will develop, it will basically cool down to the temperature, so you basically have a ramp of the temperature and not fully stable temperature. And because it's on a table, this is a quite nice option, and the Ego film processor also show you the temperature if it's sufficient or not. So I made the exposure a little bit darker, that it will be easier for you to see the settings on the Ego film processor. So I will start and select the default programs. I will go enter here, and from here I will select the Bellini C41. So it's already there, and so I have a settings here, and it's using 38 degrees for each one, and it's controllable, and in the same time I have the heating for the 30 seconds, development for the 3 minutes 15 seconds, 45 seconds for bleach, and 1 minute 30 seconds for step. So the program in the Ego film processor, it's exactly the same program what I have the manual for the Bellini kit. It's only one difference here, that everything is already preset, and you just need to follow the rules and follow the settings on the Ego film processor. It will guide you how to develop your film. And this is a quite nice feature of this processor, which I really like. It's automized, it's with a timer, and it will follow instructions which you have in the manual for the film developer kit. And also, as I said in the initial review of this film processor, it's battery powered, so I don't need anything on my table to power this down or power this up, and it's quite nice, turn on and turn off. I never developed the film, and now it's a exact step when we will develop C41 color film. We will just try to preheat the chemicals in the a little bit guerrilla mode style here on my kitchen, and I will show you several options how you can do that, but easiest option is just running tap water, and you need to put the bottles and preheat them to the 38 degrees, and after that you just pour the chemicals here, and because I will use this chemical twice, it's quite easy. Also, I will pour it back inside the bottles. And once again, thanks for the Vintage Visual to give me this opportunity to basically review this unit, and I'm at the moment with a quite close collaborations with them, and I really like the product, how it looks like, how it works. Doesn't really looks so complicated, but literally it saves a lot of time and hassle, and if you have a lack of experience in a darkroom or in the film development, this tool gives you additional hands, and you don't need to run back and forward, try to agitate stuff in the same time when you're opening the bottle, so it's release your hands and stress. And if you never developed the film before, probably this is one of the best idea. And now I'm in a different country, I'm traveling, and I have the basically full station for the film development and for the color paper printing. So it's quite amazing what you can buy nowadays in 2025, brand new for the money, which is not like a lot for this type of tool. It's just amazing. I'm always curious to see new products on the market, and I hope you also like this type of videos and this type of reviews. As you can see, I have quite microscopic kitchen here, but what is important, I have a sink with the hot water. And for the adjusting of the temperature, I will use a little bit hotter temperature. So I will try to adjust it to the 40 degrees, and I will try to heat up everything to the 40 degrees. So the idea is to just fill the water here and fill it with the temperature around 50-60 degrees, something like this. Just do not overheat everything, and when you fill it up, you put the bottles there, and everything will basically go outside, the temperature will go down and the bottles will go to the temperature up. And at some point you will just measure the bottle temperature, and if it's enough, you will just start developing from that point. And because the system kind of going down with the temperature, you will just have time to develop it and just pour everything back and forward. So this is the whole idea. If you don't have a sink, you can just use your kitchen supplies, heated up water, and use some kind of a vessel to put the waters there, and it should be sufficient for the normal type of development. So I have a quite ugly thermometer. It's not enough precision there, but as you see, we're not really talking about precision. So we need something like 40 degrees here, and as you see, it will be plus minus a lot, but we will go from there and see if it's sufficient to get the normal development or not really, and we will see the end color with the scans. So idea to set up the running water temperature. So I hope you can hear me, but my running water temperature is around 43 degrees, so it will be probably like 50, so it's good enough. I will fill the bottom of the sink, and we will just wait until it will stabilize everything, and it will be not enough time. I will just try to do it once again. And also really good idea to use not water soluble ink, because as you can see, I already ruined everything, so I don't really know where's the developer or not, but I remember it just because I still see it, and I put the bottles in order. So basically use the Sharpie, which is not water soluble, for this type of markings, or just use different types of marking styles, for example, different notes on the lid or something like that. So I put enough water here to not float the bottles itself. It should be sufficient. Usually people try to put even more, but The downside of that they will basically floating here, and if it's 500 milliliter, it's quite nice, and I have really good square sink here, so I have no problems whatsoever. And so in principle, this is kind of my small Yobo system. So I have the bottles from the right to the left, I have my developer, I have a bleach, I have a fix, and I have a small bottle of the stabilizer. If you don't use the distilled water, you can just use this water for the preheating. You can also put your drum here and preheat the drum from the outside, and do not basically pour the water completely on top of the Ego film processor. As far as I understand, it's not fully like 100% watertight, so it should be immersed in the water. But in general, this is how the temperature bath works. You just need to stick the thermometer here, and you need to wait until the temperature inside the bottles and inside the bath will stabilize on a 38 degrees, and from here you start the development of the film. Usually if you have 39 degrees, as I'm having here on the thermometer, it means my bottles is a little bit less, and 39 degrees is a quite nice starting for the development. I probably will try to preheat it a little bit more, few times. So I will also check the temperature inside the bottle. I will shake it first, and after that I will measure the temperature inside the developer. This is one of the most critical parts. So the developer should be 38 degrees, and after that we can go in the default programs again. And I can see here that my chemicals is a little bit cold, so it's 37 degrees and dropping. So I need to increase the temperature and wait until everything will be stabilized. So I have water which is quite hot, and be careful to not overheat the chemicals, because otherwise you will run into completely different problems that your film will be ruined basically. And now I have around 40 degrees. I try my best for you to see everything a little bit better. So I have 39 degrees here on the thermometer, and I also have a cup of distilled water which is preheated to the 40 degrees, so I heat it a little bit more, and basically this is a good start for the development. And this is my Ego processor. I select here the Bellini C41 kit, and from here I will just dump everything there and start to following the program. So I never tried it before, and I hope it will work as it should and do not ruin my film. So basically, let's start with the preheating, and meanwhile the temperature here will drop a little bit to 1 degree probably. And also, because this is not properly heated from outside, it should be good if you have a little bit higher temperature, like half degree, 1 degree higher than is recommended for the film development. So let's start. I will start with the play button and pour solution inside. Small downside what I see with the Ego film processor, that it doesn't really have a splash lid or something, or a funnel, and it's always a problem for me that I have the solutions and everything spilling across the table. Maybe it's only me, I'm clumsy in this case, but this is how it goes. And now you can hear the rotation of back and forward of the chemicals inside the Ego film processor. It's 2 minutes left, and I can see the temperature is 35 degrees. Unfortunately, you cannot see it by this angle for some reason. So now it's showing 35 degrees and it's 2 minutes left. So it's a little bit underheated, and it's good that I have a chemicals which is hotter, because it will drop the temperature after I even preheat the chemicals. Now you can hear the beep, and it's 5 seconds left, and I have 39.5 degrees inside my chemicals. So I will dump the preheating to the same sink, and it's quite blue water. And from here I can slowly start adding my film developer, and after that I will pour it back. It doesn't matter how much you pour, but I know from this bottle that if I put it horizontally, basically this is a half of the bottle, but we will reuse the same chemicals multiple times. So it's no worries if you overdo chemicals a little bit inside. Now I see on the screen 37 degrees, so it's dropping a little bit, and the important point here to not drop it too far. And this is a little bit downside of this system because it doesn't really have any external heater. You can use probably some type of the heater here, but be careful, do not start with the 36 degrees or 38 degrees, start with the 40 or 40 something because it's already dropping below the important point. And because it's battery powered, what I can do, I can just turn on the hot water and run it on top and try to bring the temperature a little bit higher. So I have a 5 seconds left and I will pour the chemicals back, and I always make this mistake, so I need to pour them from the normal lead side of the Peterson tank. So the next step is bleach fix, and it's written here on the screen that I need to apply the bleach. So let's press play and start pouring our bleach inside. And one, and now I will pour it back. Try to keep all the chemicals in a bottle because we will use them once again. Now let's close the lid. Now the development process is stopped because of the bleach. And last step, we will also use 1 minute 30 seconds for the fix. Press play and start pouring our chemicals. As you can see, they're fuming, so be in a ventilated room and try to avoid to breathe anything from these chemicals. And now it's showing that my chemicals is a little bit overheated, and the Ego film processor correct the temperature in terms of time. So it's not the perfect solution, but for the home use it's one of the best. So basically, if my solution is hotter than it should be, it's trying to adjust the temperature down. And now I have -1 second just because the solution was too hot. I have 30 seconds left. And after 30 seconds, I will have the final solution ready. And this final solution is just for rinsing. So time is over. I will take processor and dump the chemicals back. And the final one is our solution for the step. And because it's a one-time solution, I will just dump it in the sink after that and use a lot amount of water. And this is a rust round. Honestly, I don't really like the color of the fix after what I did, and it should be more or less transparent. Probably I left a lot of the bleach inside the drum, and this is not good, so it will not store probably for a long period of time, but it should be sufficient activity here to basically fix my last 2 films. And let's see how it goes. I hope I don't make the horrible mistake on the video and ruined everything, so let's see how it goes. Last 5 seconds, and now I will dump the solution to the sink, and everything is ready for the film review. The cycle is done, and I basically can just rerun the cycle if I have, for example, fresh, clean drum. And now it's a time for film review. I will remove the Ego film processor from the Peterson tank, put it aside, and now it's light safe, so I can open the top lid and see if I have the film developed. Moment of truth. You have lines, and usually this is a good sign. So I need to wash everything, and I also need to dry the drum after the development, and most importantly I need to dry the reels after development. For some reason I cannot open the reel, so I will just carefully pull it, otherwise I will ruin the emulsion. I don't like this new Peterson reels, and it's also stupid was for me to not remove it first and try how it works. And I will use a squeegee and run it across the film to remove the excess water. and just hang it with the small clips. Okay, I was stupid. It's opening in a opposite direction than it's opening on the Yobo. On the Yobo, it's opening counterclockwise, and here for some reason it's opening clockwise. So just probably because of the rotation, but it's opening in opposite direction, and then try to force it so it doesn't really work. But now I can remove the second film from the reel and do exactly the same. Run the squeegee from the top to the bottom without additional pressure. And now I need to dry the film. So I dried the film, and now you can see that everything looks okay, at least from the point of view of the development. I have even exposures, don't really have any defects. Some of the shots is underexposed, but it's nice. Downside, I ruined this strip of film. As you can see, it's totally black, so I lost, I don't know how many shots, just a lot actually. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, around 8 shots. So do not repeat my mistakes. Do not pull the film fast from the canister. It should be quite easy and nice. So it's the first time with me when it happens, and I always show the mistakes on this channel, so things happens. Nothing happens without any experiments, and if you make experiments, you make mistakes. I developed successfully 4 rolls of film, and in the next video I will show the results and how I scanned them. And so far I really like the Ego film processor. It's quite nice, small, handy tool which helps a lot and free up space and hands when you develop the film. So if you want to support my channel, you can go in the coffee links below. You can just donate small amount of money for my coffee, or you can just buy some darkroom supplies and tools which I develop on this channel. So thank you for watching, and I'm already have a video for you on my channel, so see you under the safe light.